Going on, ladies and gentlemen? Listen, happy Saturday to you. Tyler Campbell, aka Mr. TC Speaks. We are live on this Saturday. Man, a cold front done blew through here in Austin, Texas, but it's all good because we are bringing that heat. All right, 102.7 ESPN. Let's do it how we do it, right? And let's kick it how only we can kick it. Listen, no matter the weather, this is where birds of a feather come to flock together. And at 10 a.m., listen to me, at 10 a.m., it's my time to bring you, the listener, the sunshine. Tyler Campbell, a.k.a. Mr. TC Speaks, Mr. Real Life, Real Talk himself, live and wild on your radio dial with a smile on my face, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, energy to waste. And if you're looking for inspiration, unity, and community, then watch this, ladies and gentlemen, watch this. It is guaranteed that you are in the right place. And so you already know, 3 claps. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. What? So that we can grow. Okay, so I want to start this thing off right immediately. Listen, for those of y'all who are listening in, let today be a day of thankfulness and gratitude. If you've got some real life friends, like, salute that. I salute you. If you got some real life friends, some people who are in your corner that truly, truly love you for you, right? Love your family, love your values. You can wake up and when you got that snot, you got that crust in your eyes and they see you and they still give you a hug. I'm talking about people you don't have to be unapologetic about who you are and what you bring to the table. If you have people like that in your corner, listen, do me a favor. Yo, please, 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 please pick up the phone, send a text message, call them, and tell them thank you. All right. And what I mean by thanks, I want to give my shout out today to my brother from another mother, my brother Hodge Mitchell, who I believe is celebrating, I'm going to call it his 21st birthday, upcoming this week. And for those of you who don't know, not only is he a true Texas legend in his own right from the University of Texas, hailing from Dallas, South Dallas. If you know him as Super Hodges Mitchell for the things that he has done on the football field. But I want to give him a shout out. We had a birthday celebration and dinner for him. Those of you young bucks who are not familiar with my brother Hodges Mitchell, who is a lifetime Longhorn, listen, he holds the record for all-purpose yardage within a game with 375 yards at the University of Texas, set in 2000. My man had 23 yards receiving, I believe 83 yards in the punt return game, and then 260 some odd yards rushing. A true legend. And then has the most carries at the University of Texas with 45 carries in a single game. I want to tell you, my brother, thank you for being a blessing, not only to myself, but to my entire family. You and your wife, we love you, we respect you, and know that you are here on this earth for purpose. Know that your life counts. Know that each and every day that you wake up, you touch and you reach more people with your spirit than the man up above truly lets you know. So Hodges Mitchell, you are my lead shout out for the week. And I just want to tell you, man, I love you and respect you for the man that you are and what you stand for. Now, for the other shout outs, man, my man Robert Little, who always tunes in, my man Phil Samuels, who always tunes in from Houston, Texas, my brother Arthur AP, my multiple sclerosis brother, who tunes in all the way from Miami, MC2. I'm trying to see everybody's names off of social media. I can't shout y'all all out, but I appreciate y'all. My brother Randall, who tunes in all the way up from Leander. I just want to say thank you, everyone, for giving us or giving me your time and your ear for this show. Now, I want to lead you in with this, and I just want this to hit in your spirit, because I feel like somebody listening today, you need to hear this, because it's got to set you free either from something you're currently dealing with right now, something that you've dealt with in the past that you haven't quite gotten your head around. And I want to share this with you today. Stop trying to keep something that does not want to be yours. Woo! Yeah, I'm going to stand up for a second, man. I'm going to turn around. Listen to me. Stop trying to keep something that does not want to be yours. Whether it's friendships, whether it's relationships. Somebody in this room who's listening to me right now, in this world is listening to me right now, can empathize with what I just said. Because many of us, we try to keep relationships, right? We're trying to give ourselves or the person we're dealing with grace. We're saying, well, sooner or later, they're going to come around, right? Sooner or later, things are going to turn around. And at the same time, you're dealing out so much of your energy. You're dealing out so much of your love. You're dealing out so much of your support. You're dealing out so many of your resources, whether it be financial, whether it be other, you're dealing out so much into a person, and that person don't want to be yours. And you are left holding the weight of the world. You're the one who's left sleepless at night, all because you're trying to get someone or something to happen that's not in the reality of the situation or the relationship. There are people who are already out the door and you're the one trying to tug them to make this thing work. And I want to set somebody free today and tell you, beloved, it ain't working. That you got to let it go so you can grow. Stop trying to keep something in your life that does not want to be yours. And if you're not there in the present tense of things, I think you relate to where I am coming from right now, because we've all had a friend. We've all been in a relationship. We've all been on the job scene, and we're in a situation where we're giving everything that we've got to this thing because we want it to grow. We want it to morph. We want it to hold us at night. We want us to give us the love that we so desperately feel and believe that can happen. And we're pushing and we're pushing and we're tugging and we're tugging. And that thing is steady running away from us. And you have to get an understanding. This is a hard reality because I don't know what it is that you're chasing. I don't know what it is that you're trying to keep. But beloved, ask for peace. Pray over those things for yourself right now, because that thing, it doesn't want to be yours. And there's nothing more tiring. It's like that hamster in the wheel. Y'all ever seen like a hamster or a mouse get into that wheel and it's steady rolling, it's steady turning, and the mouse or the hamster is running as fast as you can, but the mouse and the hamster ain't going nowhere. Only thing that's happening is that the wheels are turning. And for some of us, that's you. You're running, you're chasing, and after something or someone, and that person don't want to be caught by you no way. You're the one who is losing energy, not the other person. You're the one who's losing sleep, not that other person, not that thing. And so give yourself the grace. I want to give yourself the grace that you need. Somebody needs to hear this over the radio waves. I can remember being in relationships and it's like, man, if I just keep being on this path, right? Or if I just keep praying, that thing too, we got that habit, like we just pray things away. And it is true. But faith without works is what? Yep, say it again. Faith without works is dead. So there is some work, right? There is some accountability. That is when people show you who they are, believe them to be who they say. Believe them to be who they show you to be. And a lot of us were willing to ignore those signs. And I've been in relationships where I've been willing to ignore the signs, hoping that one day that person would see the light. And all that happened over that time frame is I kept getting hurt. I kept losing parts and pieces of myself. So we today, write it down, take it with you. Stop trying to chase or keep something. Listen to me. Stop trying to chase or keep something that does not, I repeat, that does not want to be yours in the first place. And as you accept that, listen, there's some hard realities. There may be some tears that come with this thing. There'll be some uncertainties that come with this thing. But I want to tell you, like we talked about last week, man, I was listening to Method Man talk on Pivot Podcast the other day, and he was talking about how he got into acting, right? But he was superlative in the rap game, right? So in hip hop and rap music, like Method Man, like Red and Meth and Wu-Tang Clan, like he had that on lock. But what he did not have on lock was the acting game. Right. And we all remember the movies like How High and just what he's been doing in Power now and like all these other movies. The thing that scared him the most about acting was that he had to start over. And so many of us, that is the fear, right? When we talk about stop trying to keep something that does not want to be yours, we've grown comfortable in this atmosphere. What we've also grown comfortable is we've gotten used to getting hurt. I'm telling you, beloved, you don't have to keep putting up with the nonsense you're putting up with. You don't have to keep standing for those things because you feel like that is the only, or because you're scared, or because you're uncertain of what's on the other side of what could possibly be if you learn to let that person go, or let that thing go that doesn't want you in the first place in your life. And what Meth did was he said to himself, yo, I'm scared of being an actor. This is uncertain for me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what's on the other side. I'm going to let go of some things, and I'm going to jump full-fledged into acting. And because of he wasn't fearful of the uncertainty on the other side, yo, Meth is acting, I would say, more than he's rapping as an MC to this day. So I know it scares you. I know you worried about what could potentially be, but that ain't nothing but the enemy saying in your spirit, trying to keep you trapped and chained with a person or a thing that don't want to be yours in the first place. So get beyond it. Man, I forget the rap slogan, Pat. This one cat said, I don't think you're beautiful. I think you're beyond it. Yo, I don't think you're amazing. Yo, I think you're beyond it. And I think your best is to come once you learn to let go of this thing that you've had hanging on to you all your life, and you don't even know it's chaining you from the greatness that you are supposed to ascend and be. Tyler Campbell, aka Mr. TC Speaks, Mr. Real Life Real Talk himself. Yo, we are live on YouTube. Type in TC Speaks and you will find me. We are live on Instagram. Type in TC Speaks 32 and you will find me, and let this sit on you. I have a whole nother let that marinate on your cerebrum on the other side, but I'm going to tell it to you one more time. Stop trying to keep something that does not, I repeat, that don't even want to be yours in the first place. Y'all think about that thing that you've been holding on to as we go to commercial break. And then I want you to figure out what the steps you need to have in your life, because you hold on to something that don't want to be a part of you. You're holding on to a relationship. You're holding on to a job. You're holding on to something that does not want to be yours. And it's time to stop chasing, and it's time to start letting go. So what? We can grow. Take us out, Pat. Let's get to the other side. Hey, I love y'all and I respect y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. As we said in the very beginning, I opened up with my shout outs. Shout out to everybody who tunes in and listens to the show, makes it the #1 show on Saturdays like it is. But I wanted to just let people know, like, I had a dear friend of mine. His name is Hodges Mitchell. His birthday is upcoming, right? He celebrates his birthday next week, but we celebrated with a birthday dinner last night, right? And I just got to looking at the room, and before the day gets away from you today, if you have some friends in your circle, like you got some dope people in your circle, you know what I'm saying? You got a dope mama, you got a dope daddy, you got a fire group of friends, you got some homegirls that love you for who you are. Like I was telling people, you got people who love you, like them people who can come over to your house, and you got crust in your eyes, and you still wearing your pajamas, ladies, you still wearing your muumuu, and they don't judge you. Y'all can just rock it and you can just kick it. When you have people in that in your corner like that, do not take them for granted. And while life is within your lungs, yo, send them a text message and just tell them, yo, thank you. Like, thank you for being there for me. Thank you for loving me in my wholeness as you see me. You know, thank you for not necessarily always judging me. Yo, thank you for telling me the truth. Thank you for not being a yes ma'am or a yes man or a yes woman in my life. Like, thank you for being a person who tells the truth, even if it hurts my feelings. When you have people in there in your life like that, um, yo, tell them thank you. And that's what I did at the beginning of the show. I want to tell my boy Hodges Mitchell, who's been there for me in many, many, many dark times in my life. And yo, you just appreciate that. People you can be vulnerable with. So as you go through the show, as you're listening in, yeah, who are those people for you? And yo, just don't forget to say thank you. Tell everybody to go back and download these messages off of SoundCloud. Head to ESPN 102.7 and like the show, share the show. Big Earl, I love you and respect you. Listen, I'm an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. You know this, but Wemby and San Antonio, I know we beat them the other night, bro, but I don't know. I think San Antonio is really, really special right now. I hate to say it. It kills me to say it. What we got, Pat? We got 20 seconds. So I'm gonna kick you all guys in. We'll go ahead and cycle through the word of the week, and I'll take you to the word of the week and give it a definition. Yes, Wemby is an absolute dog, unbelievable. He's a dog. I hate to say that. Pat laughing at me over here, but I don't know. We are good. Oh, by the way, the word of the week is going to be loyalty.
You are listening to Real Life, Real Talk with Tyler Campbell on 102.7 ESPN. Reach out to Tyler at 512.
It's Shaolin one beat now.
Shout! Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Tyler Campbell, aka Mr. TC Speaks, the biggest diehard Oklahoma City Thunder fan in Austin, Texas. My man Pat I was talking over the airways. By the way, if you want to tune in live, I'm at TC Speaks 32 on all social media platforms and going live right now. I was talking to Pat, talking to my man Big Earl on social media, and I was just telling him, like, man, the Oklahoma City Thunder, we did end up beating, right? We did end up beating the San Antonio Spurs. We haven't beaten them the whole entire year, right? And then we touched base. We finally beat them. But I was like, yo, Wemby is a dog. Like San Antonio Spurs fans, be excited. Like y'all are back. And Pat was like, man, listen, they call him Shaolin Wemby. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the dude raises his hand and he dunks the ball. Like, it's crazy. Tyler Campbell, aka Mr. TC Speaks. This is Real Life, Real Talk on 102.7 ESPN. Love y'all and respect y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let the theme or the backdrop of the show be, when you got some solid, dynamic, and dope friends in your life, like people who love you for you, people who don't want nothing from you, people who just love your aura, your energy, and the things that you bring to the table. When you have people like that, celebrate them. Call them, love on them. Take time today, sometime throughout the show, throughout this weekend, and just tell them thank you for being that type of friend. We all need somebody that got our back, like chiropractics. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Outcast, who has that for us. And when you see people like that, love them, tell them I love you, and tell them thank you. Listen, our opening of the show, we talked about stop trying to keep something in your life that does not want to be yours. All right. You ever seen that hamster on a wheel, and that hamster's on that wheel and it keeps on running, chasing, and it's going nowhere. Right. But it's chasing and it's yearning and it's running. Listen, we are somebody in this who's listening to the show. You are chasing somebody. You are running after somebody. And that person, despite all of your efforts, right? Despite all of your graces, right? Despite all of your financial contributions, right? Despite all of your time, and despite all of your energy, all of your sleepless nights, all of the peace that has been robbed of you with that person, despite all of that and not understanding it, that person still keeps running and does not want to be yours. And I want to tell somebody today, you're scared of what happens if you let go, but understand that if it ain't working and you don't put that time and that energy in and you done chased and you done chased, you got to understand, stop trying to keep something that does not want to be yours. And you make that determination. Stop trying to keep something that does not want to be yours. Your friendships, your relationships, certain situations, it is fatiguing you. It is sucking the life out of you. It is robbing you of the peace that you inherently possess. Let it go. All right. So there we go. That was our early dynamic. But I want to give you the word of the week. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, our word of the week. And the word of the week this week is loyalty. Right? A word that we are all very, very familiar with, a word that is not big in the vocabulary, but it has such a deep meaning to it, right? And for me, according to the TCSV, the Tyler Campbell Standard Version of the dictionary, when we're talking about loyalty, I'm talking about someone who has a strong devotion to someone or something. That is loyalty. All right. So the TCSV, our word of the week, is loyalty. And I say, why did this word pop up? Because of so much in the NCAA. And I'll piggyback off of where we were last week. That is the word that I constantly hear commentators, show hosts, people who are just fans of the collegiate sports these days. They just feel like athletes are not as loyal. Like, where is the loyalty? But I want people to also understand that athletes participate in a dysfunctional family called the NCAA. All right. So the family is dysfunctional. Therefore, when you have family dysfunction, loyalty it's not as easy to come by. Like, I feel like sometimes the time in which we grew up where you're like a fan of like this university, you grew up watching this university, like you are a diehard of this university, because of the dynamics of how the NCAA is and college sports are, and with athletes going from school to school to school and place to place, loyalty is something that you may not find as much. And I want to seep in deeper. This is how you know we have a problem, because young people watch, they look, and they listen. Okay, they watch, they look, and they listen. So when you are having a problem with loyalty in something as big and as influential as sports, can you imagine the role that that plays when we work our jobs, when we are in relationships, when we have our friendships, when it is taught for you from an understanding, when you are knee high to a grasshopper, when you are looking at people who have influence over culture, influence over position, influence over decision, and they play big roles in our life, and you see them going from place to place to place to place. Y'all are thinking sports. I'm thinking life. It becomes inherently ingested by the younger generation that I can roll through the world being nomadic. I can roll through the world hopping from place to place to place. And it's not necessarily their fault. Don't, like I said last week, don't penalize the young people off of the world that they are forced to play their roles in, the world that they are supposed to live in, to provide for themselves and their families in. Yo, this is the cloth that they now have to be cut from. And loyalty, the strong devotion to someone or something, is not as great of loyalty. I think it's going to impact performance. How you gonna give your all to everything when you know you're 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door? How can you give your all to athletics knowing that when you sign your contract from a scholarship standpoint in January, you know you're up for renewal of that contract come December? And so you're playing the game. But how much are you invested into the game when you know you go from place to place? When you know that you play this position and you are constantly going to be in this world of free agency, because that's kind of what it is. So I get worried that people aren't going to be as loyal, not only to a sport. Come on, y'all, miss me with the sports stuff. I'm talking about it paints a picture or a narrative inherently from a neurological standpoint to how loyal will you be in your relationships. Do you understand commitment? Or are you always one foot in the commitment and 1 foot out the commitment when you are involved in relationships? Are you always going to give kind of half of an effort because you know you're not going to be here as long anyway? When you're on your job, are you not going to give that added extra effort because you don't want to be in this city? You just stopping through for a little bit. I hope people can see the concerns that I have, not just necessarily from a sports standpoint with the portals and the decisions and the way of the world now, but how it impacts life, how it impacts our marriages, how it impacts our friendships. Like, I'm not really going to invest so much into this friendship because you inherently automatically think that everybody else thinks the way that you think. And we're going to talk about perception and versus perception and reality later on in the show, but we'll get that. But those are the things that are already engraved in us. And I hope you can see that it is, if you don't like sports at all, at least pay attention to a lot of the things that are happening and how they are going to impact us relationally with what is happening in collegiate sports right now. All right. So that is our loyalty. Now, I also feel like there's an other side to loyalty, because you can be expecting, or you can become somebody who is so incredibly loyal to an individual or a person or a place or a thing, a noun. You can be someone who's loyal to those things, but it can be loyalty to a fault. So loyal that you aren't willing to see the truth or the heart of the person that you're being loyal to. How many of us have gotten in trouble with that? Yeah, you loyal to a person, but you don't really know that person. You don't really know what they do behind closed doors. You don't know how incredibly harmful and hurtful they are. You don't know how many people are taking supreme advantage of you and your loyalty because they know you're going to be there. And because they know that you are going to be there, they capitalize off of knowing that somebody is in their corner. So guess what? They treat and do anything else outside of your own personal relationship because they know they got you. And you don't see that side. And so, as loyal as you are, whether it be to a person, a place, as a relationship, something big, I'm asking you to also be smart about who you give your loyalty to. Y'all all know this, man. We have people who are loyal, and they're loyal to a fault. So much so that they are willing to ignore all the mess and all the foolishness that the person that they are loyal to is doing out here in the world and even doing to themselves. Because it kills me when I hear my young people talk about, man, I'm loyal. But there's a misconstruction of the definition of what loyal is, and you being loyal to somebody who in the streets who don't really have your back or your best interest and are capitalizing off of the relationship and off of the goodness of your heart, but you're so loyal that you don't even see it. And that kills me too, because it happens to so many of our young people. It has happened to me. It has happened to all of us. And we've all been in situations and circumstances where we have allowed our loyalty to infringe upon our happiness, our joy, and our peace, because we aren't willing to see a person for who they are and what they are. And so be mindful that there's always another side to the story. Be mindful when you get into relationships with people that you see it from all different perspectives. Like, how well do you actually know this person? Do your homework and do your research before you stand 10 toes down for an individual, because our loyalty gets us into trouble. Nothing kills you worse than I used to serve a lot of time in the alternative system. I used to serve a lot of time at Success High School with Rodney Page and mentoring to the children and to our young people, especially my young boys. They are so incredibly loyal to the cats that they knew in the streets that they were willing to overlook that the person who they were loyal to would be willing to sacrifice their lives so that they could get a leg up. But when you talk to the young person, when you talk to the young teenager, all he would say was, man, I'm not going to say nothing about this person. I'm loyal to that person. They done been there for me. They done been there for me when I was down and out, when my mom, my pa wasn't there. Yo, this person was there. And you try to tell that individual it was because you were easy pickings, because you were a heart that was scorned, that they know if they showed you just a little bit of love in the streets, that they would get anything and everything out of you to keep them in the clear. They would capitalize off of your labor. They would capitalize off of your hard work. They would capitalize off of your disillusionment of what love actually is. And because you became so loyal to this thing, you dared not do the research and the homework over that man that young man you were being loyal to, not knowing that that person talks so bad about you. That person does not care what necessarily happens to you. Matter of fact, you're the one sitting here in Success High School, the alternative system, and that person that you were being loyal to, they out free in the street. So I know that is an example, but I'm telling you how loyalty, it gets us into trouble. And so what you are loyal to, who you are loyal to, that thing that you are loyal to, understand that there is also a truth and a heart of that person that you have to do homework and research on, because there may be another side to the tale. And that person that you are being loyal to may be somebody who is capitalizing off of your brokenness. That may be a person who's capitalizing off of you in your low time in life. And I say that because we've all been there. And I don't care how hard and how strong most of the dudes that I deal with, at the heart of the man that I deal with, bro, I tell them all the time, you are still a young boy or a young man, a young boy in this man's body who still wants to be loved. And because you want to be loved so incredibly bad, you are willing to put yourself and your family in the worst of situations, because your heart is still scorned from the things that you endured when you were a child, or what you didn't receive when you were a child. And so once you feel it and once you see it, because you are so gung-ho about it, you are willing to be so incredibly loyal that you ignore the truths that are on the wall. So beloved, before you give up your heart, and before you give up your spirit, and before you give up all of your energy, I want you to do the homework over who you are being loyal to. And is that person showing and giving you the same energy that you are giving them? Do you have the homework and the proof? Do you have a resume over their life that what they are showing you is not a facade? It's really and truly who they are. You got to protect yourself, and don't go in blind. Go in with an understanding that you know both sides of the coin. Because when you feel what you perceive to be love, when you feel what you perceive to be something safe, you dive right in, because it's something we all look for and have yearned for, a peaceful place, a safe place. And there are also people who are in this world who are willing to take full advantage of it. I'm not the only one. It's happened to me. I know it has happened to you. And so be cognizant of that. and look at loyalty from two perspectives, and also monitor what is happening in the NCAA right now, because the word loyal is something that is going down the drain. And you can't penalize our young people for it. Our young people who are student athletes are playing the card that they have been dealt. We as adults, I said it last week, we as adults created this system. And you would be a fool to think that, oh, that's just sports, I don't have to pay attention to that. No, 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 beloved. Because what sports is doing right now, it's going to affect the classroom. Kids are influenced by athletes and the games that we're going to sit here and watch Indiana versus Miami. And then after that, the Super Bowl is right down the road. Like, we are watching, kids are ingesting what they see, hopping from university to university, going from place to place. Can somebody tell me if these babies are actually getting degrees? Like, how can you transfer so many doggone places and not have degree? Bro, if you've been in 7 years of college, you dang sure should be walking out with like a master's, two masters, Pat. I don't even know if some of these cats is even graduating. Just playing ball. There's no loyalty. Tyler Campbell, aka Mr. TC Speaks. This is Real Life, Real Talk, live on YouTube. I see you, Big E. I love you. Thank you so incredibly much. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the other side of this break. It's hot and heavy. I haven't even gotten to our Let That Marinate in Your Cerebrum, Pat. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. What? So that we can grow. Hey, welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Pat, what you think on this segment? Try to keep us in. We're at 1:31. What time we need to get out? You got the math. You got it circulating. Big Earl, I appreciate you. Mother-in-law, I love you. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody else who's been in and out, man, thank you. Andres, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I don't know. Pat, what you thinking? Like 145, 144?
There's one more 3-minute break.
Yeah.
After this.
Okay.
So,
You're at 45, then we come back at 48.
That'll work.
We got 12 more minutes.
Yeah, that'll give me enough time. I'll take that 148. Oh, shout out to Melanin for Clothing. If y'all know the 1968 Olympics, I talked about John Carlos and other stuff. I was telling people like, man, look, that's 1968. That's the actual. They actually got my boys on the podium giving the fist in the sky. Can you imagine in Mexico City during the 1960s, like what that took while you're receiving your medals to represent the United States of America, and you put up the fist like that? But yo, go check out Melanin for Clothing. They do an excellent job. I'm a history buff, so last week wore the sweatshirt hoodie with John Lewis, Martin Luther King Jr., Coretta Scott, Rosa Parks, Nelson Mandela. I wore that sweatshirt, that hoodie. You can see the video from last week, and this week I got the 1968 Olympics. And I don't know, when I put things on that have a historic tie to them, like I said, I feel like I'm putting on my cape. I feel like you pay homage to the people who have broken doors open before you, and I don't know, it does something to you. Or at least it does something to me. It makes me go through life with a different set of energy and passion, because I know that I'm here because of what other people have done. And then when you look at life through that lens, it changes the way you treat people. The relationships you have, how you dive into them, how you love on people a little bit more. Things were done and put into place before you got here so that you could have what you have, even though what you have may not be all of what you want, but you got something. And yeah. Oh, big man, that's dope, Earl. Yeah, it is. It has been one of my favorite pictures as well, bro. It says a lot without even having to say a word. Like, you just look at the picture of this, and those of y'all who never looked at the picture, go to Google and download this actual picture and just look at it. You don't even have to know what's going on to know that it is a monumental time. It is the world stage, the 1968 Olympics. All eyes on these events during what's taking place in the world, the civil rights movement and fighting for rights, and they doing this. I'm inspired. It's not just the black thing, I'm talking about, this is inspirational.
Listening to Real Life, Real Talk with Tyler Campbell on 102.7 ESPN. Reach out to Tyler at 512-834-1027.
Tyler Campbell, AKA Mr. TC Speaks, Mr. Real Life, Real Talk himself. Listen, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you all so very much. It has been a dynamic show. Go back and listen to this. I will download it off of SoundCloud, going live on IG at TC Speaks 32. Also have the YouTube channel. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in, going back and forth. I've given my shout out, man. Shout out to Robert Little. Shout out to Phil Samuels, Randall Wedlin, everybody who tunes in to the show. I thank you all so much. And also just keep spreading the word, right? Keep telling other people about the energy that we have and what we possess down here in Austin, Texas. Listen, our word of the week is loyalty, the strong devotion to someone or something. And we kind of broke down how it's a word that has such strong meaning. It is a word that can get you into trouble. You've been in people who are in relationships, like people who like they're in a relationship with somebody, and that person treats them so disrespectfully. That person does not love them. And so my ladies, y'all know, ladies, y'all been in a situation where you try to tell your homegirl that man ain't no good, but you steady going back to him. He's a cheater, but you steady going back to him. Even telling your homegirl, don't do this, but her loyalty is so incredibly strong. And that's why I say right here and right now, yo, what are you loyal to? And is it worth your loyalty? And a lot of us know the truth, but we're so scared of what's on the other side. And Method Man said something, and I want to say it earlier, like I heard him say it on the Pivot podcast. I said it in segment number 1. Yo, that if it scares you, it's actually what you should be doing. Just off of what I said last week as well. It's so funny. I heard the Pivot podcast, and Meth was like, yo, I was scared of acting. You know, Method Man, Wu-Tang Clan, like dominant MC, like great hip hop artist, but acting, that wasn't in the arsenal. The Long Island Kid, like that's not in his arsenal. He knows how to rap. But it scared him to do it. And at the same time, he said, that's how I knew I should be doing it. And for some of us, we get scared and we're in relationships, man. We got people who tune into this show, and I get the emails. They're in abusive relationships, but they will use all sorts of excuses with the trauma that they are going through as to why they should stay. So it's tough, y'all. It is hard. But the loyalty is so strong. And it scares people to think of what could potentially be on the other side. And I just want to speak some love over someone who isn't receiving that love where they are in their journey in life, and to help them to understand that they, number one, what we talked about earlier, before the word loyalty, we said, stop trying to keep something that does not want to be yours. Stop trying to keep something in your life that does not want to be yours. But it's so comfortable. It feels so good. It's so much easier. Beloved, to be what the man up above has called you to be involves the struggle and strife of doing something that is new. And so be set free, be made anew by the fact that what you are scared of, the thing that's holding you back, the thing that's keeping you in this abusive relationship, the thing that is keeping you in a toxic work environment, is your loyalty to that thing, but you're still doing something and trying to keep something in your life that don't want to be yours in the first place. So if it don't want to be yours in the first place, I want to speak over you that your opportunity and that your freedom and that your peace renewed is letting that thing go and going on to something new. And I say that because we have all been in situations where we needed somebody to speak that over us, and it never came. And watch this, when we finally spoke it open, when we finally got out of that relationship, when we finally got into a new working environment, when we finally did this new thing that Method Man was talking about, which is acting, when he finally got into acting, he recognized he loved it just as much as MCing. Wished you would have got into it long before the movie How High. But we then look back on the situation, we say to ourselves, oh my gosh, I would have done it earlier. I see you, Big E, on the chat. Love you, bro. I'm putting it in there right now on YouTube. Yo, we're going live everywhere. And so stop trying to keep something that does not want to be yours. All right. Pay attention to loyalty and understand how the word loyalty is going to be something that is going to be far and few in between when you're loyal to the right thing, watching what's taking place in the NCAA. We got the national championship coming up, and I guarantee you, throughout the national championship, it's going to be talks of Fernando Mendoza and the transfer portal and all the transfer portal work that the University of Indiana has done, and how much money in the transfer portal that the University of Miami has spent, and there's no loyalty and tie-in. Imagine how that affects our young people, because they're learning that you got to move from place to place. They're learning in relationships, you get in one relationship and out the other. It's what they watch on TV. It's what they cyclically hear in the news. And you don't think it's going to play a role into how the movement and the future of the country looks, the future of the world looks? Nobody's really invested into relationships. And you know what happens when people are invested in relationships? They don't care who gets hurt. Y'all better wake up and pay attention. Yo, shout out to Sister Act, Pat. If you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, Lauryn Hill, I hear you. You better wake up and pay attention. Y'all better wake up and pay attention, because the writing is on the wall and people will not be as loyal. And guess what? When people aren't as loyal to certain things, they treat people any kind of way because they don't care who it hurts. Why? As long as I get my bag. As long as I get what's mine, I don't care. I will step on your toes. I will hurt your family. Y'all look at her, see, you think I'm lying? I'm fine. Look at what's going on in the world today. Look at it. Look at the world we living in. To think that athletics and the ways of the world don't tie in and coincide with one another, you crazy. All right? So stop trying to keep something that does not want to be yours. Watch what and who you're loyal to. Start writing the people down. Why are you loyal to them? And do you know the other side of the coin? Is that person as loyal to you as you are to them? Because as I mentioned before, in the alternative system that I volunteered in, cats were loyal to people, but they were the cats who suffered the most, while those people they were loyal to are out there free in the world. Meanwhile, we are in an institution that straps and takes away your freedom. And you're here because you were loyal to somebody who don't give a doggone about you, but more so what they could get and take from you to keep their freedom. So when you're in relationships with people, understand that your loyalty can get you in trouble if you don't understand the truth or the heart of the person that you are being loyal to. Do you know the heart of that individual? How well do you know them? How well do you know that young man that you're in a relationship, young lady? How well do you know that young woman that you're in a relationship with, man? They may not necessarily be as deserving or as worthy of your time and your energy. So question marks over what you are loyal to. Be careful with it. Let me say this, man. There is majesty in your tragedy. There is majesty in your tragedy. I do not wish negative things or harmful or hurtful things over people. I'm going to utilize my life as an example, and this is not everybody's reality, but how dare I say something as deep as your majesty, there's majesty in your tragedy. And I say that because nobody ever told me that while you get an autoimmune disease with multiple sclerosis, that love is a possibility. All that I heard with my disease was about what it was going to take away from me. I never heard or spoke to anybody about what could be potentially promised to me. You know what? And as a result, I deemed myself not worthy of love. I deemed myself of, you will just accept what is out there. If people like you, you accept the like because that's as good as it's going to get with you as an autoimmune disease. And the reason I say there's majesty in your tragedy is because there's somebody who is going through something where they have been stripped, where they have been extremely hurt and harmed. And I want to tell you that you've just been pushed into a life, unfortunately, unexpectedly, into something where it is cleaning your slate so that you can be seeing things renewed sense of spirit and energy, because now we got all the foolishness out the way. And now you can see the world a little bit clearer and actually be able to receive what's out there for you. You see, with multiple sclerosis in my life, bro, I don't wish it upon anybody. I wouldn't want anybody to have the disease, but I will tell you what it did was it caused me to live life and be cautious about my decisions. It caused me to think about what time I'm going to sleep at night. It caused me to think about what I'm ingesting into my body. It caused me to speak and talk differently because I knew at any given time my limbs would be taken away. But you know what it also did is it sat me down and made me actually reflect off of what do I want out of relationships and what do I want the long listing of my life to look like? Who do I want to spend those things to? And when it opened my eyes, I understood that there was majesty in the midst of my tragedy because I was no longer living from a standpoint of feeling like I'm invisible. And I felt like as an athlete, I was invisible. You got a beautiful body. You got a handsome face. You can lift this. You can do that. You can run like this. You feel invisible. That's not the reality in life. The reality in life is, anybody can reach out and touch you. And so when you know that anything can reach out and touch you, it changes your walk and it changes your talk. It changes what you value. And the one thing that I want to tell somebody in the midst of what you're going through, whether it's autoimmune, whether it's sickness, whether your health is on the rocks, I want to tell you that you still can be loved and that there is someone out there in the world who can love you and accept you for who and what you are, that there is majesty in the midst of your tragedy. I tell people with my disease, I don't tell them anything that I have done. I don't tell them anything about what I'm physically doing. You know what I tell cats now is I tell people you can have a wife. I tell people you can have a husband. I tell them, yes, you can fall in love in that wheelchair. And don't you dare, doggone it, let anybody else tell you that because you have this disease, it is not possible. And the same is true with you in life. I know MS may not be your walk and your talk, but there's somebody out there in the world and you have been hit with something and it was unexpected and it was unfair and it's taken this away from you. It's taken that away from you. It has stripped you down to your bare bones and the tears that you have cried in life. And I still want to tell you that you deserve and will be loved. I want to tell you that there is somebody out there who will treat you right and respect you for the woman or the man that you are, that those things are still coming into your life and that there will be majesty in the midst of your tragedy. I'm Tyler Campbell. This is Real Life, Real Talk on 102.7 ESPN. I will catch you guys on the other side of this break. Y'all let that marinate on your cerebrum for a second and know that there will be majesty in your tragedy, that there's something good that is coming. There's something great that is destined to you. And I use my multiple sclerosis. How's it working for me? Man, I've been married 15 years, upcoming this year, to the most beautiful and the most amazing person who accepts me with all of my foolishness, all of my ugliness, all of my negatives, all of that crust in my eyes and that drool that's down my face at about 7 o'clock in the morning with no haircut, sometimes a hairline that gets shifted to the left and to the right. She still loves me. Catch you guys on the other side of this break. We got one more dope thing to say. Yo, let's go so we can go. Hey, Kentrey, appreciate you. Kentrey, been praying. My wife and I have been praying for you and your family. I'm not going into details about it. I got the address, right? So we are good to go. Earl, I love you, man. Earl, listen to me. Kentrey, you with kidney disease, bro. How different? I'm curious. Did anybody ever tell you when you were faced with these tragedies that were placed on your health? Did anybody ever tell you like you can find somebody that will still love you? No, nobody ever told me that. Like being 21, I nobody ever told. I am telling you because I feel the need to say it, but I'm 30, I'm 39, 38, and I don't hear people verbally say you can still find and be loved for who you are. See, I didn't know that, Earl. And that's the situation to my man Arthur. I don't know if you've ever seen him. Like I met my man AP with his MS disease, and when it took off, and I think Arthur was a professor, and it was same situation with him, Earl, black man down in Miami, and the same situation happened to him. You had to tell myself. You see, like because there's so much shifting. And I was in a relationship that obviously didn't work out either during my time of getting diagnosed. And it's just like, just all that stuff that comes in a wave at one time. doggone it, I think that was probably more important than finding Montel Williams. It would have been more important to see a relationship, to talk to somebody else's spouse about what it's like to love somebody with MS. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do y'all make it work? Like, I never figured that out. Like, Kentrell with kidney disease, like, how valuable of it would have been, like, somebody to like talk to before you met your wife now, but like somebody who could sit down and just lay that stuff out. Because you dealing with disease, like you're dealing with so much tragedy, you're dealing with so much shakeup, you're trying to function, and then you got to work on your relationship at the same time and make this thing float. Like it's tough. How much time we got, Pat?
20.
So 20 seconds. If I missed some of y'all, thank y'all so very much for tuning in. I know it's Saturday, you got to go. I really appreciate y'all. This last segment was something that I honestly don't know how I'm gonna make this thing work. It's just kind of on my spirit. So I just say stuff for the first time, and I'm gonna put it out there. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes I learn from it after I do it. So y'all bear with me on this last segment. Then start to come out of
You are listening to Real Life, Real Talk with
I see
Tyler
you,
Campbell
Kentrell.
on
I'm reading it.
102.7 ESPN. Reach out to Tyler at 512-834-1027.
Pat, I think my question of the day: do you finally believe in Josh Allen? And I don't. Pat shaking his head. Listen. I don't. I don't believe. I've been through the show too many times. Am I wrong for not believing? I don't know. I just like it happens every year. Like this is the job. I just don't. I feel like something's gonna happen. But I will tell you, look, the Bears that are possibly moving to Indiana. I don't know, Pat. The Bears are looking good too. But we'll see. We'll see. Tyler Campbell, aka Miss TC Speaks. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. 102.7 ESPN. Tyler at tcspeaks.com. That is my email. You can find me on social media. Find me on live. I always appreciate everybody for tuning in. Love y'all and respect y'all for your energy on this Saturday. Go back to SoundCloud. Go to the website here on ESPN 102.7. Find the messages. Download them. We've been talking today about loyalty. I don't have the time to go back in and reverse. If you missed that message, I'm telling you, give him my heart and soul. I know I'm giving my heart because I'm hot in this 1968 hoodie of John Carlos and my boy, raising the fist at the 1968 Olympics. If you join us on live, you can see it. But we talked about stop trying to keep something that does not want to be yours. All right, stop trying to keep something that does not want to be yours. All right, our word of the week is loyalty. Right? The TCSV, a strong devotion to someone or something, right? But we also talk about how our loyalty can get us into trouble. We've also talked about how loyalty is getting far and few in between by the way of the world that we live in, especially the effect that collegiate sports are having on our young people and what they are growing up and seeing. It is going to be harder and harder to find people who are not just loyal in sports, but loyal in their relationships, loyal in their job tenure, right? Loyal to the values and goals that they have in their lives, because what they are being shown is if it doesn't work here, I just go here. If they're not giving me what I want here, I just go here. And that is not the reality of how the life works. And also when you leave something, oh my God, I just got this. Also, when you leave something, you don't pick up the pieces that you have broken. You don't pick up the problems that were left unsolved into the lives or the institutions or the people that you have left behind. So you leaving behind a trail of a whole bunch of mess that is going to follow you all the days of the life, and it will catch up to you. So our young people don't even recognize that when you go from place to place, when you move from woman to woman, when you move from man to man, relationships, sexually transmitted diseases are real. Your credit scores are real. Your lack of ability to pay bills and to not close out things and you just move, those things follow you. They have consequences. And what we are being shown is when you are loyal to some things, and you have to make sure that the loyalty is right. When you're loyal to the right things, you treat them differently. All right. There's majesty in your tragedy. One of the biggest things I wish I would have known is that I wish somebody would have told me that you can fall in love with your autoimmune disease. Nobody ever did that. And nobody ever told me about love. We've been having a conversation with some of the fellas on my live stream right now, and some of the fellas have been through tragedy and heartbreak, and nobody ever informed them that they could have love, that they would be loved the right way, and a lot of people have suffered because of those things. And so what I want to speak over you in your life today is to tell you that there is majesty in your tragedy. And I don't know what the man above has for you, but don't give up on the things that are destined to come for you. And perhaps he's cleared the slate so that your heart can be made new and prepared for love or a friend that is coming down your road. So there's going to be majesty in your tragedy. And I want to speak that over you and somebody else today, and particularly those of us who are living with diseases. All right. Last thing, I want to say this very quickly. Sometimes your perception is not your reality. Write that down. Your perception is not always your reality. All right, because I hear that slogan a lot more, like perception is reality, and it kind of ends up being one of those things that we hinge ourselves on, meaning that like what people deem to be true or what people see to be true, that's what's true. And that's not always the reality, because I can read something and I can see an event and I may process it differently than what you process it. And a lot of times, this is what I want to say. When you hear that slogan, I think people use my perception is my reality as an excuse to not seek and do the research to find out the truth of what's really real. I feel like people use their perception as their reality as their comfort zone because they don't have to do the research. They don't have to dive in to what actually took place in the neighborhood. They just rather look at what is showcased on the news, not willing to actually do the due diligence to do their homework over a situation. And then they become aligned with certain things. And then you're aligned on the misinformation that you are receiving. So therefore, your perception can't be your reality. It can't be. It can, in a sense, if you're willing to do the research and you have the truth and you have the facts, then yes, your perception is the reality. But what I feel like today's world is we aren't willing to do the work. Nobody wants to do the work. Everybody wants to take what they see from social media and say, that is the truth. Everybody wants to see and take what they see on the television and say, that's the truth. Beloved, do your homework and do your research and stop taking the Cliff Note version of what you are hearing and you're receiving, because then you're making that perception your reality, not understanding that it can only be your reality in truth if you seek it and if you are willing to do the work behind it. Check your sources. All right. Where are you getting your information from? All right. Who are you listening to? Truth. My man Earl said people will substitute truth for their truth. And we will, because it's comfortable, because we don't want to be stretched, because we don't want to do the homework, because we don't want to have tough conversations. And then we shape and we mold what we believe about people and where they come from, what we believed about people and their ethnicity and their heritage, what we believe about certain people who are in a position of leadership. We don't want to accept the truth. We don't want to go seek the truth. We want to do what's easy, and we want to take what is true based off of what we scroll with our finger, because it is instant and it is now and it is easy and I don't have to do the work. Listen to me. I'm going to tell you what I learned in sports. Work works, but you got to work it. Oh my God. That was one of the biggest things I learned in the Eric Thomas program, was that like we had all this information. We had the greatest inspirational speaker who was giving us wisdom, knowledge, and insight. We were enrolled. We had paid our money. We were getting all of this great information. And my mentor would say, yo, the program only works if you work it. So number one, work works. Yes, it does. Write that down. Work will always work. But number two, the insight, the information, the truth, it will only work for you if you work it. So when you find truth, beloved, don't turn a blind eye to it. Yo, take it and use it and go help set somebody else free, because they are doing the one scroll with their finger, or they're going off of what they see. And that's not the whole situation. It ain't the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You have the due diligence to share the truth and help guide people where they can find the truth and what are the sources that are the truth, so their truth doesn't become the truth. That's a lot of truth. But we make our truths the truth because they're comfortable for us. Find the truth. Tyler Campbell, aka Mr. CC Speaks, Mr. Real Life, Real Talk itself. Do your homework on the sources that you are coming from. Yo, the perception is not always the true reality. All right? It's not always. I love y'all. I respect y'all. Till we meet next week. Let's go so we can grow. Peace! Hey y'all, thank y'all for listening in. I appreciate that. Perception is reality. It was just something I was thinking about this morning. So I don't know if it was making sense. I got a whole bunch of notes. Like I didn't really have time to really. It was just on my spirit. So when I'm on the air, it's my opportunity to just explore. And so that's what I do. And so a lot of my keynote messages that I have when I'm on stage, you guys hear them forced because I take everything that's up here and I just put it out in the world in a live setting. And whatever happens, happens. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all and I respect y'all. Thank y'all for listening in. Earl, I appreciate you for sharing your heart. Kentrey, thank you for sharing your heart within these comments. I play blessings, prosperity, peace, joy, and happiness over your lives today. When you got people in your corner, call them today, text them today, tell them thank you, tell them you appreciate their friendship, tell them you appreciate what they have done and been the staple for you in life. Because friends, they're hard to come by. Each one reach one and each one teach one. Love and respect. All right, Pat, we're here.
No,
Pat,
Josh Allen ain't about it.
Pat. Okay, and I get it because people say eventually it's gonna happen. I just everybody's like, because they say there's no Mahomes, right? And there's no Lamar Jacksons. There's it's for the taking. I just feel like I've seen this narrative before, and it's a little bit different. Like I don't feel like there's anything that makes this year different.
Yeah, especially going up against the Broncos.
Against the Broncos, so it. I don't know, Pat. I don't know. We gonna see. We gonna see. Um, it's a good defense.